Good morning. Today's the 14th of December 2023 and I'm going to go through today's levels on the ES, SPY, Qs, NASDAQ, oil and gold futures. Before we start, I'd like to have a look see what any high importance news. 8:30 we've already had, so we'll take a look at that. It looks like a bullish candle by the looks of it. And anything else today? There's some news around 10 o'clock which may move the market, so just be wary at 10 o'clock. And some oil news, gas news and a few bill auctions. So just keep an eye on 10 o'clock today. I think that's the only time we need to worry about. Okay, so looking at the ES or the MES chart, this is the S&P 500 index futures, the hourly time frame. Let's get rid of that, we don't need that now. So we had this big FMOC candle yesterday, or FOMC, I keep saying it the wrong way around. And a big push up here. Annoyingly, I was long down here. I got whipped out. I had my OCO orders in place. Maybe I should have been watching the hourly 50, but anyway. We had this candle in at 8:30. It's a bit of a green candle. Let's look at it on the 5 for a second. Yeah, so 8:30. That candle there, and we had a good reaction to that break. Must be getting close to all-time highs right now, so let's take a look on the weekly. We're very close, we're right up here. So all-time highs is 48.08.25 and we're right at 47.87, so $30 away from all-time highs. And I think NASDAQ did break all-time highs. Yeah, look at that, actually all-time highs right now, so we're in no man's land with NASDAQ. So we are very extended both on the daily and the weekly, and even on the NASDAQ we're quite far away from any moving average, the 20, the 8, the 20, the 50 and the 200, and a pullback it's going to happen, but we don't know when it's going to happen. So to start off with ES, get some levels in place. So obviously we've got 48.08 as a rejection point, all-time high. We are very, very bullish. But interestingly, let's just look at the weekly volume. Decline in volume on this weekly, increase in price. So maybe we're getting close to a pullback. There's just, if we had high volume, if the volume was going up in that direction as we were pumping up that way, then maybe we could sustain this rally, but I'm not sure we can. So that's interesting to see. And we had a big move this week, lower volume as well. So let's see what it looks like on the daily. So that's today's volume. Big wide range candle yesterday, and look at the volume. It's not much dissimilar to the previous few days where we had narrow range candles. So potential weakness maybe. Or maybe it was the energy. Maybe it was just I would really expect to see a big powerful candle, and to break out over the all-time highs which are coming up to. But maybe we've got that to come. So we're looking for ending volume on the daily. So it's kind of coming right down. Maybe we're going to see a big rejection candle and a candle that looks a bit like that up here, maybe somewhere. So that's what we want to keep an eye out for, a rejection candle on high volume. Not happened yet, but we are reducing volume as well. So let's get some levels in on the hourly. So I've literally just got in a few minutes ago, so I'm kind of looking at the charts for the first time. But one level did stand out to me, was this area of confluence, you could say. We've got tops of those candles, the bottoms of these candles, so I'm going to be watching for a bounce 47.65 area to 47.66, that entire area for a potential bounce. And that's basically just going with the trend and going with the power we've seen over the last few days. We had this level from yesterday, 47.33. I can't remember where that comes from. Let's have a look on the 4 hour. I think that's an area of confluence from July maybe. No, we've broken July's. 77, that area there. Yeah, so that was that area there which we went straight through. So I'll probably take it off. Now, area I'm really watching for, we're coming into another area of confluence right now. So this could be a very high risk rejection. And if I were to choose at level, it have to be, then there's no bottoms. What I really want is tops and bottoms, so these are all tops. So there, last time we came into that area, we had this big reaction down, and obviously we got this area here, so just mark that up as well. Just so we can see it. Yeah, this entire area, I'm going to put a in the area supply. So let's see what that looks like on the hourly. So biggish area, we've got a few levels here. So that's all-time highs here at 48.07, which we're getting close to. And we're kind of in that rejection, high risk rejection area. But it's hard to go with a rejection when the market's so strong right now, especially after this big move yesterday. And you know, the volume in that move yesterday was, if you want to compare, it wasn't amazing. You look at that day, was that the 1st of December, we had a higher volume candle on a smaller candle. So there's a bigger wide range candle with less volume. So I don't know whether we can sustain this upward movement. So I don't want to be biased short or long. I'm going to play the chart as we see it. So these are my levels. We're going to go for a long, potential long at 47.88 area, that area there. A possible rejection, high risk rejection where we are, but only with confirmation, top and tail, high volume, but that'll be, have to wait for the open. And a potential rejection at all-time highs, 48.07 area, with a stop loss at 48.08. That's a pretty decent defined stop loss, because once we go above that, we're in no man's land and uncharted territory. And they're the only levels really. Continuation, you could play a continuation here. We're starting to reject that area right now actually. Yeah, it's hard both ways. It might be a sit on hands day to see what happens, watch what the market does. But if we do pull back down to this area, 47.05, I quite like the bounce down there. And I've got another area, 46.84. That's probably won't get there today, but that area for a bounce as well. And we've got this other bounce there, 46.62. These are the areas we talked about yesterday, but this area in particular is an area of support, and you can see we ran along there all of Tuesday and for some of Wednesday as well. We just couldn't break that area, and then FOMC came along and just ripped it up. So that's the area to watch for potential bounce. 47.05. Volume wise, we've got a bit of volume over on the profile chart as well, assuming. So yeah, so we can see point of controls right in that area as well. So on this volume profile tool here, the most congested volume is in this area, which is kind of what you expect. So that's an area to watch for a bounce. So to sum up, I'm watching 4700 to 47.05 for a higher probability bounce. 47.33 is a higher risk bounce area, but with confirmation, and that's based on going back to 2022 or 2022 all-time highs. And then I quite like the bounce here at 47.75 area, and I talked about that rejection. It's starting to reject it now. And so the next area rejection, or if we're in long, we've got a target area at all-time highs at 48.07. Like I said, if we do go for the rejection of all-time highs, we can keep the stop loss quite tight, because there's nothing above, there's no support or resistance. And that's it really. Let's look at SPY on the daily. So Oh, so there you go. I thought SPY was closer to all-time highs than it was. Daily, it's looking a bit different as well because look at the volume. Increased volume yesterday, which you expect to see. Increase in volume last few days as well. So that's looking strong. That's the opposite to ES, which we saw was decline in volume and less volume yesterday. Let's just go back to the daily to confirm that again. Yeah, so the ES, we had below average volume on those few days going up. We had that day there marginally more volume, but not much more, still below average, and doesn't look strong when you compare it to SPY, where it's had above average volume yesterday, and it's in the last few days has been increasing as well. But like I said, we are due a pullback as well. So let's see where we can go. So I quite like this area for a bounce. That's a daily area. I'm going to change that to a daily. That'll be the top of that candle there. Let's go back into hourly, see where we are with that. So this is our daily area we watch. That's a higher probability bounce, and look at that, it'll be touching the, coming into the 200 moving average as well if we get down there. I quite like the bounce here as well, 46, sorry, so the daily area is 459.50 area for a bounce to 460. Then we've got 464 area, 464.15 for a high probability bounce. And you know, we slowed down in that area yesterday, just around there, top of that candle, bottom of these candles. And then high risk bounce, could be looking at 472, I don't know, this area here for a bounce if you're looking for a higher risk bounce, and that is 471, I'm not sure. I think that area would be better. 470, I think that area must have been an area of confidence from the all-time highs going back a few years. So 471, maybe the top of FOMC candle, FOMC candle. This area here. What is that? So that would be 469 to 470. So we can watch both those areas. Let's change that to hourly. So it's a higher risk, but it's coming into the 20 moving average. So we could see, you know, look at the last time we got to the 20. So we bounced there, we bounced there, we bounced there, well, we didn't bounce, but we never got through. Tried to break it, bounced there, tried again there, and didn't even dent it, and then we saw this big reaction. Maybe we're going to have a similar reaction back down there again. So keep an eye on that. And they're really the only levels to watch for. And then all-time highs, I think it's 480. So we've got this zone 476 to 480 as a rejection. So if we get into that area, we can look for some form of rejection coming up into this area. But again, strong move, lots of volume yesterday. Maybe we get some follow through today. Qs, it's not quite broken all-time highs yet. It's coming into that area of supply. And so we've got, oh, where we are now in the pre-market. Okay, I'm about to say that area is a potential reject area, top of those candles. All-time highs are at 408.71. Okay, like ES, if that's the weekly, let's go back into daily. So yeah, so this is our supply zone. And where are we now? 405.44. So coming into an area, a higher risk rejection area, because there's not much there, but we've got, I quite like, maybe go for a rejection at 405, 409.50, and then you can just put your stop at 410 because then that's all-time highs, and if it's stopped then it's going to break it. So it hits your break, then it's going to make new all-time highs. And again, wait for a confirmation. So this candle here is a great confirmation candle. So you can see it's higher volume than the previous few candles, top in tail, and this is a daily candle, and then follow through volume as well the next day. So let's look at what it looks like on the hourly. Big volume spike yesterday as expected. Yeah, keep an eye. This is an area to watch for a high risk rejection, or 409, top of this zone, for another high risk rejection, but with confirmation, but we're going into all-time highs. And then bounce wise, I quite like the bounce. I must have put it in a few times. I could have got excited here. Put these levels in at least 3 times here. So a bounce at 398.72, potentially 400 as well, which is a psychological number. Around that area there, 450 to 400 bounce. Not many great levels, unfortunately, because we have not much to the left now. Qs have broken highs, so we're now in no man's land. So increase in volume as well each day. The volume candle wasn't as big as I expected it would have been for yesterday, but candles are getting wider and wider as well as volume's increasing. That shows that it could be quite bullish. So let's wait for a confirmation candle, a nice top and tail candle, something that looks a bit like that, a shooting star candle or something with a bigger body, and then let's look for either a double top, come back into that area for the rejection, or a pullback with reducing volume, so reducing volume, and then look for the long for continuation. Oil, didn't quite get down to the level I was watching. So I was watching this area. Right, it did come into our demand zone as predicted. Maybe I should have taken a smaller entry there, but that's the area I was really watching. 67.20 for a bounce, and it's already bounced. Maybe that's a bounce. Okay, so 2 scenarios for this. Break of that area, either a breakout, higher risk, or break and retest, continue the trend. We might be looking at a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders pattern. Again, we won't know until we see the right shoulder set up. But if we come back down to this area, we haven't broken that area yet, so we're still in an hourly downtrend. So if we come back down to that area, that's where I want to try and find an entry. We're above the 50 and above the 200 now on the hourly, so it's looking bullish, but coming into that area, see what happens. It's either going to reject 71.93 or it's going to break through it to continue the trend. And then gold last. It's consolidating in this area again. Looks like it's starting another hourly squeeze. Nice bull flags, and maybe the break off there, or the breakdown of this area. It's tried to get down once and it bounced off the 20 moving average, but we could watch for the breakdown. So there's a couple of plays depending on what it does, but it's looking more bullish than bearish, and we've got this area to watch for. So we go for the breakout, complete breakout, get in as it breaks a high, or a more conservative approach, higher probability, is the pullback and then the breakout. I quite like the break and retest, and then look for confirmation. It may not even come all the way, it might break out, come back down some of the way and break. So that's a play we can watch for a swing maybe. Level wise, it's kind of touched this level a few times, so I'm not sure it's going to touch it. How many more times will it touch it? It's touched it here as well, so maybe we're looking for a breakout. So it's playing this channel, and obviously it looks like a bull flag as well. Okay, that's it really. Back to MES to see if there's anything happening in the last few minutes. Now we're starting to see that rejection which we were talking about in the hourly off of that area. So the next area of potential bounce is coming in at 47.76, 47.75 area. Higher risk because we're quite close to it and we're quite extended. So, but like I said, we are due a pullback, but we don't know when it's going to happen because looking at the daily, very extended. Look at the weekly, very extended. Everything's too far away from the moving averages. RSI on the weekly is coming up into the overbought area. What's it on the daily? Well and truly into the overbought area. So RSI is lining up for a bit of a pullback. You know, we can be in there. Last time we touched that area there, it was about here. So it didn't instantly reject, and then came down, and then up here we had a bit of a pullback, and we've got lowering volume now, like you said. So not showing the power you want to see. You want to see increase in volume if you're going to have a rally. But maybe if we get to all-time highs and we break through it, we might see a bit of an increase, in volume, because it needs that energy to get through that area. So maybe it's just conserving energy at the moment. But look how extended we are, very extended. We've got quite a way to go from the 20, 50, 200. So these are the areas to look for if we get a bit of a pullback, both on the daily and the hourly as well, very similar. So the hourly, you got your 20, the 50, and the 200. So let's keep an eye on the hourly. Maybe a bounce off of this 20 moving average. Maybe a bounce off the 50. In fact, that might give us an extra edge over that level we've got there. Wait for the 50 moving average well. Or we've got the 200 moving average, and that coincides with this level down here. I've not drawn it in because I don't think we're going to see a big move down today. So I'm trying to keep my charts cleaner now by removing old levels and just adding new levels, and only focused on the very newer levels rather than hold historic levels, unless it's of significance. Right, thank you for watching. I will see some people today in the trade room, or I'll be back with my trade review recap at the end of the day.